Joining me now in conversation with is Saul Watson. How are you?
Hi Sam, how you doing? Good to see you again.
Yeah, I'm doing really well. Haven't seen you for ages.
I know. I think the last time was actually on the radio. I think I came in and did something quite a couple of years ago, I think.
Yeah, you came in and did a bit of an acoustic sesh, didn't you?
Yeah, I think so. No, yes, it's a while ago. But
I just want to just say about your background, your lovely guitars behind you.
Yeah.
I love that.
I'm doing things, so I don't know which way I'm pointing. I'm having a bit of work done in where these actually are.
Yeah.
So it looks a bit of a DIY SOS situation. So I thought that'd be a lot more interesting than
I love it
and stuff. So
I love
yes.
It. So let's just kind of, how are you? How are you all safe and well?
Yeah, all good, all good. Touch wood, thankfully. I'm one of these people that I think it's being a social antisocial person. Lockdown hasn't really been too much of a problem for me, if I'm perfectly honest. I know it has for a lot of people, and a lot of friends of proper struggle and family as well. But I've always enjoyed my own company and just sitting playing bass or listening to music or watching a movie, and I'm quite happy doing that. So it's gone on a little longer than I hoped it would. I mean, as soon as you start arguing back with yourself, that's when you know it's time to get out and see. This is a joy. This is lovely.
I'm glad you're okay. So this whole idea of these interviews is to kind of get to know musicians and see where their inspiration and stuff comes from. So let's go way back. Okay. When did music start impacting your life?
I think it probably goes back to the late 70s, because believe it or not, despite the Zoom filter, I'm that old. And my dad left home and he left a box of records.
Okay.
I pulled out, and I struggled to pull it out. I was only probably 4 or 5, and I pulled this box out, and it came tumbling out, and it was just a whole range of Beatles albums came falling out. Crosby, Stills and Nash, Glenn Campbell, Motown stuff, to Miles Davis or Ornette Coleman. If it had come out the other way, it would have been Bob Dylan, which is no bad thing. Spyro Gyra, who to this day I still don't know who or what they do. Somebody will comment in the bits below there. So those records became a link to my dad, because he was no longer there. And I put them on, I played them to death. As a Beatles collector later on, remembering that as a 5-year-old, I cut all the album sleeves up and put them on the wall.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I think the Let It Be book that came in a box set was, and I cut all the figures out and put them on my wall, and I think that's worth a couple of £100 now. So, well done, so
hindsight's a great thing.
Yeah. So that was a link to my dad.
Yeah.
So if I wanted to think about my dad, or I'd put these records on, and they became massively important to me. And then I got to enjoy them they made me happy.
Yeah.
As what the Beatles stuff is. I think if you listen to most of the Beatles songs, it's Love Me Do, P.S. I Love You, all you need is love and positivity. They're all good things. Octopus's Garden Aside, which is really about octopuses. But it's positive, fun music, and it made me happy. And equally, I started listening. I thought, well, that really deep sound is the thing that is really dominating, and that's the thing I'm tapping that must be really important. I'm going to be that guy.
Oh, cool.
So then I saw it coincided. Really long story, but I'd only ever seen Jimi Hendrix play a left-handed guitar, and I'm naturally left-handed.
Okay.
I'd never seen a left-handed bass player.
Okay.
But obviously, I saw pictures of McCartney playing left-handed. But there was a photograph of me and my brothers at the time, and I had a Disney Rescuers T-shirt on, because I was that cool as a kid. Yeah. But it was backwards. It had been developed backwards.
Okay.
And I remember someone explaining to me, it's just been printed backwards. No problem. I was like, okay. So I thought all the pictures of McCartney doing that were that.
Okay.
Well, I didn't know you could get left-handed basses. So I had acoustic guitar turned upside down the other way and struggled for years to learn to play right-handed. And then I was like, if only I'd known, I would have been a lot quicker.
So how old were you? How old were you when you picked up a bass?
probably about a bass, probably about 13, 14.
Wow. Okay.
Or that, a guitar
Yeah.
with string and stuff. But I never wanted to be a guitarist, despite some of the gigs I've done where people say, you play bass like a guitarist. I really don't. Yeah, that's all I wanted to be, was that guy that made you dance.
Yeah, that bass line.
So the ego thing is the most important thing there is. But yeah, so it's what I wanted to be.
Excellent. So did you have lessons, or did you self-taught?
Totally all self-taught.
Wow, bloody hell, that's amazing.
As if you've never seen me live, you will be able to attest it. Which
I have seen you play live. It's rubbish.
Yeah, I was all self-taught because obviously we didn't have the benefit. I mean, a lot of these interviews that you'll be doing will be the same story. We didn't have the benefit of the internet. Or be able to pick up now and say, I want to know the chords for this, and look at YouTube, and some 10-year-old in Japan is doing it better than you will ever do it in your life. I know. So you didn't have that. So it was the old Peter Kay thing of stopping the play on the rewind, or lifting the needle and going back. So I just used to do it because I just used to do things to the beat of it and work it out. So all self-taught. I took a few lessons probably in my early 20s, just when I wanted to learn how to do sight reading a bit better and things like that.
Yeah.
That's the things. But never really took any big lessons, I must admit.
So when did you first get into a band?
I was 14, I believe.
And was it through school, or was it friends?
No, I didn't have, unsurprisingly to anybody that knows me that watches, I didn't have many friends as a kid. I'm a bass player, and long it continued. No, it was just friends outside of school that I didn't go to school with. And this is one of the things that we've spoken about previously, about music being a great leveler and a great thing to bring people together. You might not know these people, but you see it when you go to, I don't know, Rambling Man, for example.
Yeah.
You don't know this guy you've been talking to for 20 minutes. You've never met him before in your life, but the common thread is what you've just listened to, or what you're looking forward to listening to.
Exactly.
So it was always a better way to get into a band than I find now, than having to advertise on the internet and have you playing? Oh yeah. So so just friends that we did. A lot of my early bands, we had logos and T-shirts designed before we even had a set list.
As you do.
There was a band called Soul Badger.
Oh
Yeah.
I love that.
Never even got to rehearsal.
But you had a T-shirt.
You knew what the logo needed to look like, yeah. So so just bands like that. Then I joined a band in I can't even remember what year it was. There's an amazing drummer called Bob Langridge. You might have come across Bob. His dad was an awesome drummer called Luce. Bob plays with the Brothers Grimm and just exceptionally talented. And I joined a band with him. And I think he's a few years younger than me. He won't hesitate to tell you. It was him and a guy called Paul and Dave and Ian Ingalls, who I think.
Okay, I know Ian.
Ian was our singer.
Okay.
Curly hair and so we were in a band called Run for Cover, and we were good. We were all right. We were never going to sort of challenge the charts or anything, but we were good.
Yeah.
I then joined a band called Big Ideal, that were quite big in Maidstone at the time. We did all right. And then I went off and did it as a job, really. I'd been doing it for on and off for a bit, but then I did session work and
how was that? Because most musicians would dream to be a session musician. How was it?
I enjoyed it. I must admit, it's people. There's this perception of musicians, but I think a lot of our mutual friends on Facebook and a lot of people that see this, that people assume you're either a really struggling musician doing nothing but eating 8p noodles, or you Paul McCartney and Mick Jagger and Ed Sheeran and breaking millions. There's nothing in between. Whereas you can be a successful musician I think early on, yes, I wanted to be rich and famous and be the best at this, be Grammy Award winning, but then I realised as long as I could do this, and I didn't have to sit behind a desk, shuffling papers and nothing against people that have to do that. It's great, but I considered that a success.
Yeah,
roof over my head, a couple of quid in my pocket, run a car, eat. You know, and a very understanding parents. I was never going to be destitute, or, you know, again, which I know I'm very lucky to have had. But yeah, it was good fun. I enjoyed every second of it. It's very varied, which is what I wanted.
I bet.
Be doing a string of things for Garlow bingo clubs up and down the country one week, and then I'd go and do Invicta Radio, as it was then, some radio jingles for them.
Yeah, excellent. So it kept you on your toes a bit.
Yeah, it did, and I learned very early on, and this was something that was reiterated to me recently by a very well-known musician that said to me, "Never say no." And early on, I was always, "Oh yeah, I can do that. Yeah." Never say no, because you'll learn when you're there. And I did. I turned up for a jazz session.
Wow.
And turned up and got my bass out and sat there, and I was like, no, we're playing jazz. I was like, I can play jazz. It's all right. It's all really not giving it the credit it deserves as a genre. And they said, no, we want you to play upright.
Yeah.
It's all right. It's up. I can put my bass here and play it. How hard can it be? Let me tell you. So I'm thinking, what's going on? So I pulled up a stool and I tilted it. So it was kind of like an angle on, and so I tried to play it, and I just felt people looking at me. So I looked up and I was,
oh no.
Yeah. So that was, whilst never say no, go prepare.
Maybe say no to jazz.
Yeah. So I went home. I went home and I listened to it and studied it a bit.
Yeah. It's a tricky genre, isn't it?
Yeah, but so is decent. Country and western's not as simple as people think it is. A lot of people think it's just a dum.
Yeah.
More to it, you know. It's tough. So at least have a basic knowledge of what you're going into before you say yes. But yeah, I've never said no to anything really. The reading gigs, one of the first lot of reading gigs I did, I was given the scores, and I could read a bit and I could read fluently, but I wasn't reading it off.
Yeah.
And I had my bass that I was going to be playing. I had a practice bass with me as well, and I got a pair of nail scissors, and under some of the strings, I just sort of scratched a bit where I knew where the notes were, and then pencil out and wrote a note under every single. I was like, right, I know that. So, so it was a lot of practice going into that, but it was good fun, I must admit.
Yeah, excellent. And obviously you were part of Marylebone Jelly for a while. 20
something years, yeah.
Exactly, a while. That must have been really good fun.
Yeah, I mean, it just became some really, really good friends.
Yeah.
Some close friends, you know, because we worked pretty much every weekend for 20 years.
You're one of the busiest bands I know.
Yeah, we were coasting along for about 8 years. We were all right. We were good. People come to see us and whatever. And then I don't know, something changed. We did some gigs and just something just changed, and we went off. Yeah. And we were suddenly able to charge a bit more money and justify it.
Yeah.
We were suddenly on festivals and corporate stuff and weddings, and people were. I never underestimate the how important it is that if you're whatever pub you're playing in or club you're playing in, that people have actually chosen to get their ass off their sofa, and come and see you.
Yeah.
And I never forget that. I never downplay the fact that people have chosen to spend their night
with you. Yeah.
So you have to give them something back. They deserve something back.
Yeah.
And as a band, we were very good at entertaining people. and putting on a performance. And whether we were playing the Red Lion in Sittingbourne, which is a great venue, that little pub, or we were doing the Iowade Festival or Margate Big Event or the Ashford one where we came to you guys, you got the Wembley Stadium package regardless. We didn't know any other way. Because we had all been brought up on, and some of our big influences were big stadium rock, like Ed and Neil, massive Kiss fans. So that's blowing up you can get hold of. So so we had confetti cannons indoors. We used to play a pub in Gillingham called the Plough and Checkers, little tiny place. But we had pyrotechnics indoors.
Brilliant.
And these things would go off at the time. I don't think it was just a hitting a button and wait for it. And the amount of times I'd turn around to Neil to finish a song and one would go off and or worse, it'd fly up and it'd drop just behind your finger as it's smouldering away. But so we were doing that from the late 90s, doing the pyrotechnics. So where they are now, rightly so, on the big stages doing the confetti cannons and all the great pictures that people can see if they go onto the Facebook page. They've earned it because they know how to put on a show, those boys, and I was very proud to be part of it. You know, we had some amazing times. I mean, we
what have you been doing since you left?
Since I've been doing a few different projects. I've currently got a Beatles thing on the go.
Brilliant.
Possibly a trio. I'm working in a band called the Icarus Incident with Mike Orvis, who's an epic drummer, phenomenal singer.
Man Mountain as well, amazing.
Awesome singer. And the very talented Joe Green on guitar, been around the scene for a long time. So we're working together. We've been working together for about a year. So before lockdown started, we had a couple of gigs. Just as lockdown kicked in, we got the last one. I think we had one in August when we were allowed to go out and entertain like 4 people at a time or whatever, 100 miles away. So we did a gig then. So we're slowly getting back to getting a set ready so we can, we've got some gigs towards the end of the year booked up.
Fab.
So that's good. We've got, what else am I doing? I've just done some of the online Zoom collaborations. A friend of Mike and Joe's and mine called Mike, who runs the Doghouse Studios down Hernway. Lovely guy, has wanted to do a load of songs, and he kindly gave me a bell and said, would I play bass on a couple of them, which I'll play bass for absolutely anybody and everybody, so yes. And he's a mate, so happily. So I did a Ted Nugent song called Stranglehold, and Wanted Dead or Alive by Jovi, which was fun. So I'm looking forward to that. What else am I doing?
So you're keeping busy then?
I did some stuff in the summer with some friends. A friend has got a music tuition thing he does in the States, and he was getting people together to try out a new format of getting people to join in. So I did, very lucky enough to do a recording with Steve Morse from Deep Purple.
Wow.
Greg Bisonet, who on drums from Dave Roth's band, but he was also, any episode of Friends that you see, all the music that isn't the theme tune is Greg Bisonet on drums.
Wow, okay.
And his brother Matt as well, who is Elton John's bass player. Mark Rivera, who's Billy Joel's sax player, who wrote the intro to Sledgehammer, the horn. That's Mark. And my dear friend Billy Sheehan, who I'm very lucky. I mean, Billy's an absolute idol of mine going back to the mid 80s. That's where bass totally changed for me. And if you ever get Ed Austin on here, ask him about but Billy was and remains a massive influence, a hero to me, and I'm just very lucky as well now that I can call him a friend.
That's amazing.
And it was bizarre, even to the fact of last week, I was in my mum's kitchen and we were exchanging messages, and it was just, once I finished sending it, it was one of those bizarre. Oh yeah, totally. But he's a dear friend. So we all played, we recorded Brown Sugar, All Right Now, and You can't do that by the Beatles, which I ended up singing. And I'm not a singer, but they wanted an authentic British voice, which cued all their American poor imitation British accents. All right, mate. I was like, yeah, brilliant. So that was great fun. And I think there's a video still online for that.
Yeah.
But that was great fun. So hopefully something else will happen with that. I've got a few other things that another couple of guys, Mike Pope on drums and Danny Cella, who another local legend, pair of them. We're hopefully going to get back into a studio again soon and have a bash. So yeah, lots of things going on. I'm looking forward to seeing lots of bands as well, and all this open. The guys from Gallow Circus. Obviously, you've had Ian.
Amazing. I went to their EP launch and they were incredible.
Yeah, just a great band and lovely people as well. And obviously the guys at Collateral that are just going through the roof, and again, Todd and Angelo and Jack and Benny, they're just lovely guys and deserve the success. But they're looking forward to seeing it.
Do you know what? I think we've got some epic bands in Kent.
We have
really do.
All genres, all sorts. So it's a good scene. It's promising.
Yeah, it's really good, really good. And let's hope that moving forward, it's going to be thriving again. Because I'm really missing live music.
I think it will. I think there may be a bit of a sticky period as it first comes through. People will be a bit cautious about going out. Pubs may be a bit cautious about spending money that they haven't been able to bring in. But it will. We're a resilient bunch, us musicians. And we'll bounce back, and hopefully, because we've all been affected by it, I'm hoping that we'll see a greater level of support for each other.
Yeah, definitely.
Which has always been there, but there's also that full well, I'm not going to go and see them. They do this. So, let's support each other because we all need it.
Yeah. Definitely.
My band certainly will. So come out and
watch us play. But you're right. There are. It had, because it's such a hard industry. So many bands wanting to play at venues and fighting, like undercutting prices and all this, that, and the other. We need to kind of level that out again to say, look, we've missed playing. Let's just get back out there.
Yeah. I mean, again, going back to Ed and the guys in Marylebone Jelly, we never. And I think it's how they still feel now. Never bothered about where you put us on a bill. We didn't care. If you wanted us to open it, and we did. We opened a couple of festivals, and there was probably about 30 people there when we opened it.
Yeah,
that's fine. Yeah. We put us there, put us at the end, put us second to last. Do what you want, because we were always confident that you've got to follow us.
Yeah.
We know what we do, and we know how good we are. Follow that.
Yeah.
No matter how good you are, we're pretty confident that we're gonna
blow you out the park.
And I think there's an element in that. With everybody needs to have an element of that about them. Otherwise they wouldn't be doing it. Exactly. So but just a bit, let's support each other. Totally. Let's get that.
Well, I can't wait to see you properly.
It will be soon. Well, as soon as we're allowed to be out, and
I'll have to come and see you play.
Yeah, like I say, with the stuff with Mike and Joe, there are definitely about 10 or 12 gigs booked in.
Brilliant.
And hopefully, if I can get in the room with Danny and Mike, and we get some sorted out, there'll be others. There's a few other things that have been put on a table for me to look at. So I shall look into those. Yeah. And hopefully that'll be more. That's not one of them ringing. That's a. Hopefully the phone won't stop ringing, and I'll keep on being busy. But we'll certainly come down and sit in the radio station with you again.
I'd love that. I'd absolutely love that. It'd be so good. Thank you for joining me. It's been an absolute pleasure. And stay safe.
Likewise.
And I will see you soon.
Will do. All right. Take care.
Love.